You're on the Rant Couch, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Conrad's Proctologist, who says, "Hi, Digi, can you take me back to the rant wormhole? Lake Rant is starting to smell like your ass. I may be a vegetarian, but I have no interest in tossing your salad. That's May's job." Well, first of all, there was no rant wormhole. There was the rant wormhole. The place where it was warm when I didn't want to be in the cold ass dungeon that was the original rant hole. But you know, we're on the rant couch now, so hopefully that's fine. Rant about Porter Robinson, the resident weeb representative in the world of electronic music. I've never seen you talk about him. What are your thoughts on his music? As someone studying music seriously in college and learning production on the side, I think Porter is the best producer working today. He puts so much sincerity into his songs while still ensuring that most of them are certified headbangers, and the unique sound of his production is why many professional producers share my opinion. Have you heard Worlds? I consider it the best album to come out of EDM, but it wasn't in your albums video. How about Virtual Self, Porter's later project? If you haven't heard Virtual Self, go check out Particle Arts and Eon Break. My favorite Porter songs are Sad Machine, Goodbye to a World, Flicker, Fellow Feeling, Particle Arts, and Eon Break in no particular order. If I need to get pumped for a workout, I put on Eon Break. If I want to cry for an hour, I listen to Goodbye to World. What, if any, are your favorite Porter Robinson songs? So yeah, what are your thoughts on Porter Robinson, the aesthetic of his sound, his production and sound design, the way he curates his albums, anything to say at all about his pre-Worlds work, which is completely detached from his current sound? Also, just some food for thought, I personally think his release of Worlds, the album that propelled him into the mainstream, came at a perfect time. 2014 was still riding hot off the waves of Attack on Titan in 2013 and SAO the year prior, and the 2010s anime craze was in full swing, with streaming bringing anime into the mainstream before everything became saturated, so the demand for the Japanese otaku aesthetic was at an all-time high, and Porter's album filled that void perfectly. Alright, well, thank you for doing an entire rant for me, which will surely satisfy the Porter Robinson fans who have clicked on this video. I would encourage those people to now click off of the video as fast as possible, because I know where this is going to go. I was kind of curious after reading this, after seeing this effuse praise of Porter Robinson, this insistence on his popularity and influence. Why don't I know much about Porter Robinson? Because I never heard of him until Shelter came out. I didn't like Shelter. I didn't like the song or video, really, at all. I thought they were fine. And I was like, why haven't I seen like reviews of his albums from the Needle Drop or anything? So I typed the Needle Drop Porter Robinson, got his World's album review, and he gave it a 5 out of 10 and had about 75% dislikes. And I was like, oh, I see how this is going to go. But yeah, I listened to a few of his songs that you mentioned. I did not like any of them at all. In fact, I would say that this is pretty much the opposite of the kind of music that I like. There's nothing I particularly like about it. The production is very clean and pristine. I will give you that. You know, there's I guess catchy melodies. This is the last kind of music I ever want to listen to. Like, first of all, as electronic music goes, I would say his sound palette seems incredibly generic to me. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't listen to a ton of EDM, but like just the general feel and sound did not seem like anything new to me. It didn't seem like anything I hadn't heard about a billion times before. His synth tones, you know, like the wailing, high-pitched noises that comprise the melodies of the songs, the very straightforward, bass hits that come in these very simplified beats. There's not a lot of rhythmic complexity, which is really my biggest problem with it. Like, what I like in electronic music is the ability to create dense and chaotic rhythms, you know. I like jungle and breakbeat and like those kinds of sounds, the stuff that's just like all over the place, you know, using, even though those, you know, they use fairly generic samples, everybody's just using the Amen break over and over again, but I love how that break sounds, and I love hearing it arranged 1,000 different ways, but you know, that rhythmic complexity is the point to me. So hearing something that the drum sound essentially is just like pff, ta, pff, over like a bunch of glistening keyboards does not appeal to me. It's just so slow, and like, and the melodies are not complex either. They're just sort of repetitive, driving, you know, simplistic melodies. Like if I want to hear crazy keyboard melodies. I want it to be like Anamanaguchi or something, where it's just these verdant, multi-layered, insane, chip tunes going in all directions, like shit that and really sticky, really memorable melodies that sound like a vocal line, that sound as good as what I'd expect from my favorite rock bands, that would have vocals in them. Yeah, it just this music does nothing for me at all. It seems so void to me of anything really original. Like again, I appreciate that a lot of people don't feel that way. I know this guy's got a huge fan base. Um, I don't know what kind of people like it or what else they like. I don't know what they're typically into. I tend to, if I want to listen to electronic music, I would prefer it to be very experimental, avant-garde, to have something, more unique about it. Like I'm trying to think of like what electronic music I really like, and none of it falls into this kind of sound category really. Like Clarence Clarity is an electronic producer. Does he make electronic music? I would be hard pressed to say so, but his production style really speaks to me. The incredible amount of detail and just weird noises and the crazy song structures that he plays with. These Porter Robinson songs, they are, I mean, they're not quite structured just like pop songs, though the main parts of them are. There's sort of more weird transitions and, like drops in sound or details here and there, but it's just like, you know, it's like one at a time in a way. It's like you're hearing one kind of thing and we have a little break and goes into another. It's like there's not that the insanity that you would get on a Clarence Clarity album or like new introductory lectures to the system of transcendental Kabbalah by Kel Valhal, which is one of my favorite electronic albums. An electronic trap experimental noise album essentially. Like there's tons of people who are producing electronically that I am a fan of. When I brought up Anamanaguchi is like one of the closer examples to something resembling the sound of Porter Robinson, but their music is much more like metal influenced. They got like really crazy double bass, heavy driving drums and guitars laid in. It's a bit more rock and roll than just electronic. So, and I also like some kind of like trance music and stuff that's more low key. Baths is an example with his album Obsidian. That's sort of like a softer, more more contemplative album. But a song like Miasma Sky, like if you were gonna ask me what is the best produced electronic song I've heard, Miasma Sky is fucking pristine. Or Ocean Death, oh my god. Burrow in the brine, bury your body in my graveyard. That fucking song, when I first heard that on headphones in the gym, I was like, what is this sound palette? And I know that he goes to really extreme lengths to get those sounds, like the little soft melodies that are flittering through in Miasma Sky, especially at the end, most audibly at the end, is like him playing a banjo with a bunch of like effects on it, like 30 feet away from the microphone or something, like just a very particular sound mixed in there. I like that detailed, textured sound. I would even say like the Minecraft soundtrack has like a really great sound palette and a very textured sound. But I don't know, listening to these Porter Robinson songs, like again, I think the production is clean. I think he clearly is putting care and thought into what he's doing, but what he's doing isn't interesting. He's creating very standard EDM music that has not really memorable melodies, really simplistic rhythms that aren't engaging to me. So just overall, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. I will probably never listen to it again.